And welcome everybody to another Sad Jams interview. This is your source for going inside the minds of the greatest musicians in DIY and emo and everyone coming up right now. I'm here today with Matt from the band Troubled Minds. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, it's super exciting to talk to you. I'm excited to hear all about your plans in the works and your upcoming singles and what you put out recently. So let's dive right into it. You have put out two singles in 2022. Like I Used to Be was the one that you sent in through us, and then more recently, even Get Well Soon. You had a single come out in 2020, Burn, and you also had an EP, a year right before that. It's a lot of material in itself, but is it all leading up to something bigger? What's coming next for you guys?
Well, it's a good question. Yeah. So right now we're actually we're sitting on an album. We haven't announced it yet, but I'll announce it right here, right now. So the album it's going to be called Disconnect. It's an 11-track album. Like I Used to Be and Get Well Soon are both going to be on the record. We're planning on releasing one more single with a music video from the record, and we just have to shoot it. We'll probably get it out maybe August or so, but
Nice.
I'm a little after that. We should have the announcement. Also, as I'm talking about it, wait right there. Are people going to be able to watch the video, or is this just going to be?
So it'll be cool. On YouTube.
I've got test pressings.
Oh wow, here we go.
I got those in. So that's really exciting. Just approved of those, I think, a couple weeks ago. So we Excellent. Should be, I don't know. After you approve test pressings, how long does it take for vinyl to get from Taiwan here? Probably a while. But anyway, yeah, we should have a pre-order link, at least for the record, in September. And then that is going to be through Really Rad Records. We didn't sign with them, but they're just doing like a vinyl pre-order link with us.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I don't know, we're going to tour a lot after that. We're already lining up some tour plans. So yeah, that's basically in a nutshell what we've got going on right now and in the future.
Well, I love it. I love some breaking news on Sad Jams too. It's what we're all about. So kind of going into, some of the touring and everything like that. I know you have been a band for a while. Your first album came out in 2015. So, there's, I don't know if you noticed, but there's been a whole pandemic and everything from there, and live music kind of stopped for a while. I'm curious, like, as you navigate the pre-pandemic, post-pandemic landscapes here, like, what's been the biggest thing that you've noticed has changed as a touring band, in terms of booking shows, in terms of just releasing music with an album coming out on the way? The landscape feels like it's been uprooted in a lot of ways, and in some ways it's still kind of how it used to be. So to you, what do you think is the biggest thing that's changed?
Well, let's see. I mean, it's not a whole lot of like drastic change, to be real. I mean, shows are still shows. I do notice that, despite, the 2-year pandemic period, the scene changes every 2 years, no matter what, at least where I'm from. It seems like bands will like fall apart and new bands will form just about every 2 years. So what it felt like was like that kind of happened, but there was no like middle ground for people. So like, there's a lot of new kids at shows that don't necessarily know like how to be at a show. There's that's changed. And I really saw that when we opened for Heart Attack Man. Heart Attack Man does have, a younger following. They have like high school fans. Yep. And there was a lot of kids there that was their first show ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I, took advantage of that and like helped people out as far as like showing people how to crowd surf, like want to go up, have somebody give you a lift,
sure.
This out. And then at first, like all these kids were like super scared. And I was like, watch me do it. And then they gave me a boost and then I did it and I stage dove and it was fine. And then all of a sudden, like all these kids started doing it too. And it felt really good. I felt like I was like passing the torch on to like some of these kids. So sure. That's changed. I think there's just a lot of like new kids at shows that don't know what it's like. Not only not only were they like not at shows for the last 2 years, but I mean, there's not really any new videos, like live videos of shows happening. So I think there was a lot of kids coming back or just like starting to go to shows that just didn't really know what to expect.
Interesting. Yeah. So like, I guess kind of on that note too, like, you know, you playing with Heart Attack Man, but you've also opened for artists like Turnover, Sincere Engineer, you have toured with some of them. The World is a Beautiful Place.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overlap between these artists, but there's like pretty key differences. And like you're saying, like the scene kind of turning over every couple of years and everything too. So as a band that's been able to maintain that longevity for a period of time, you know, 7 years since your full length came out, how does your show change? What do you do to tailor to these new kinds of audiences, you know, other than feeling like you're helping these people kind of assimilate to the show and to these crowds? Like, what other things you kind of do, or what do you try to do to say pass the torch from an on-stage perspective?
Well, I think that since, you know, those earlier days, I've gotten a lot better at just speaking into the mic, talking, public speaking in between song banter. I used to suck at that. And we would sometimes just go into complete silence between songs, and I'm just tuning, or just tuning, and then it's like, cool, here's another one, you know. And like I've gotten a little bit better at just trying to keep people like, I don't know, just energized.
Right.
I think that's the main thing I've gotten better at, is just kind of like you know, keep people cheering, like shout out all the bands, keep people cheering for that, keep people like, just keep people like making noise, because then that helps things not get so awkward. So I don't know, just like keeping the energy alive. I think that's one thing that I've gotten better at since those earlier days. But yeah, you know, I mean, to build on what you were asking earlier, like how has the scene changed since the pre-pandemic days? Now we're in the post-pandemic days. Our local scene in the Phoenix area has gotten so much better for like the emo stuff, pop punk stuff, whatever you want to call it. This like the kind of stuff we're doing. It's just grown a lot more. There's a lot of new bands. Like I'll just name a few. There's Sympathy Card, Badger Springs, Bethany Home. These are just like the first three that come to my mind. And that's huge for us because we were kind of holding it down for a long time. Which is why, I mean, it was really awesome because we had like all these opportunities to open for like so many cool bands. But that's another way that the scene has changed, at least for us, is like we've got a lot of new bands and a lot of cool new bands. It's really awesome. I'm really digging the scene here now more than ever before in the last 7 years.
Nice. So I guess kind of like on that note, and you know, kind of playing off of evolution a little bit, you know, sound wise, what do you think has changed for Troubled Minds since that time?
A lot. I think that if you go back, every release we have kind of sounds a little different. Right now, I feel like we're kind of in a good in between like all of our releases in a way. I mean, it's definitely started more emo at first, and then things started to kind of swing a little bit more pop punk, especially with those singles like Burn and Vacancy. Mm-hmm. And then things kind of came back, and I feel like this new record sounds more like us than anything else. Like it just sounds like the first record, Something Worth Saving, plus like, you know, the pop punk tinge, but like mixed together in a way that just sounds like us. I don't know. I suck at describing things, to be real, but like, I don't know. I'm just really proud of this new record. I feel like it really sounds like us. Genre names aside, it's Troubled Minds, and I'm really proud of it.
Nice. Yeah, it's interesting because like I definitely hear when I listen, I definitely hear like some of that pop punk approach and some of the more recent stuff, but like, you know, especially on your, you know, the singles you put out recently and the things that are going to be going on this new album, I'm hearing, you know, Glockamora, I'm hearing a little bit of Bear versus Shark. I'm hearing like, you know, all of these kind of classic artists that seem to be like, you know, like you said, you started off at this one point, you kind of swung around to try some new things, and now you're kind of coming back into your own in like kind of a more comfortable place. So I guess just like when you say sounding like yourself, what are the artists that are influencing that for the band as a whole, and then yourself as a songwriter as well?
Well, I love Glockamora. I gotta say that record that they put out, mwah, love that. Glockamora is an insanely great band. Thinking about other let's see. I don't know. Shoot. Let's see. Should I just pop open my Spotify? I'm on my computer. What do I listen to? I mean, like, a lot of people have said that our new stuff sounds like a mixture of balance and composure and the Wonder Years.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I was necessarily going for that. I do like both of those bands. But I've been listening to a lot of Anxious. Have you listened to their new record?
I haven't heard them, no.
Oh, dude, you got to listen to Anxious. They're freaking awesome. But like them, I love them. What's another band? We opened for Anxious and Koyo. Koyo's sick. I'm kind of just cruising through my Spotify. Let's see. I like Maxiel. They're cool. I don't know if we really draw influence from them. I mean, Title Fight, obviously, like they were a huge influence on me. I really liked You Blew It. Have you ever listened to You Blew It?
I love You Blew It, yeah.
Sick. I don't know. I can't really say that it's like I really go for trying to pull specific influence from any specific artists. I feel like whenever I try and do that, I end up just like accidentally ripping people off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of going through my Spotify. I'm going to pull out bands that I feel like I listen to regularly. Not going to spend too much time on this. Oh, dude, Pile of Love. Have you listened to them?
No, I've heard their name come up a few times, but I haven't actually dove into them yet.
Listen to their record. It's really good. I love Pavement. Cool 90s band. I don't know. Let's see. Did I just land on a 90s playlist here? Archers of Lophasic.
Yep. That's interesting that you go to the 90s end of it too, because like I definitely heard some You Blew It, but like I definitely hear some of that 90s influence, and I'm hearing that I feel like in general kind of coming back in a lot of places. A lot of kind of the like post grunge bands, the Turnover coming in, the a little bit of maybe Jawbreaker in there sometimes, a little bit of all of those kinds of artists. So it's super, super interesting to hear. I guess kind of just go into the last few things here. Like, I don't want to paint you guys because you're very much, you got a lot of exciting things on the way. And I very much don't want to paint you all as like the old men of the scene or anything like that. But, you mentioned passing the torch, and you're mentioning, like things you can do to introduce your music to different kinds of crowds, and how the scene has a tendency to turn over a little bit. So, you've played with all of these artists that have maybe given you some kind of advice or inspiration, or things you're able to pull away from that. And is there anything that you would want to pass over to other artists, or things maybe you have said to other artists already, a piece of advice that you've maybe picked up?
Yeah, let's see. So where do I start? I could probably suggest a lot of things. Don't give up unless you want to give up. Then you can give up, that's fine, but like try and stay consistent is what I'm trying to say. I feel like the reason we haven't really like gone super far as a band is because we've had a lot of starts and stops. I'm really into recording. I've recorded all of our own stuff, and I've recorded a lot of local bands.
DIY or die.
Yeah, totally. But I get distracted by recording other bands, and I've just realized that because I lose consistency with doing my own band. And that hurts us. It does. Like I'm doing what I love still, but it definitely hurts the band. So I'd say like, I don't know. I do see some local bands like take breaks, and like you can do whatever you want, but it will hurt you if you don't like post in a year. You'll come back and people will be like, "Who's this band?" You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it hurts. So I'd say one thing is consistency. Another thing is just, I mean, really at the end of the day, it's just all about making friends, making homies. Don't overthink things beyond that. Just go to shows. If you see a band you like, compliment them. Everybody loves compliments. That's like literally, you don't have to trip out over telling somebody good set, dude. Like that, people always love to hear that.
Right.
Always people make friends, because at the end of the day, everything else is going to fall into place as long as you're just making homies. So that's kind of, that's my simplified view of like how to do a band. You're just making friends. That's all it is.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Would love to amplify that message. That's what it's all about. Cool. So yeah, I mean, you've got a new record on the way, and what was the name of that one more time?
It's called Disconnect.
Disconnect. All right, Disconnect on the way. Another single coming out soon. Another music video coming out soon. So a lot to look forward to this summer. Anything else you want to plug?
No, I think we covered it.
Sick. Well, this has been Matt with Troubled Minds here. It's been super sick talking to you, getting to know a little bit behind, the music here. Go follow We're Trying Records on Instagram and Twitter, and look on Spotify for the Sad Jams playlist. And until next time, this has been another Sad Jams interview. Thanks, everyone.